The first time Princess Seraphina saw the human, he was being sold for 1 credit, not because he was valuable, because no one wanted him. The auction hall floated above the dying moon of Asterion, where nobles came to buy weapons, servants, secrets, and sometimes living beings. Golden lights burned above their heads, but outside the glass walls, Seraphina could see her world freezing beneath them. Her moon was losing its heat. Every night, another city went dark. Every morning, another 1,000 families woke beneath colder skies, and yet the nobles still laughed. At the center of the hall stood the human. His clothes were torn, his wrists were locked in magnetic chains, his face was bruised, but his eyes remained steady. The auction master struck the floor with his silver staff. Species human, male, former engineer, last confirmed survivor from the Earth refugee fleet. The crowd murmured, a noble laughed. Humans, I thought they were extinct. Another replied, almost, this one probably forgot to die. The hall filled with cruel laughter. The auction master continued. Starting price 1 credit, no one raised a hand. Princess Seraphina stood from her seat. The laughter died slowly. She was the crown princess of Asterion, known across 3 star systems for her beauty, her silence, and her impossible sadness. Silver-white hair fell over her midnight blue armor dress. A crystal crown rested above her pointed ears. Her sapphire eyes reflected the dying light of her moon. She lifted one finger. I will buy him. Her royal advisor leaned close. Your Highness, he is useless. Seraphina looked at the chained human. No life is useless. The human looked up at her. For 1 second there was no auction hall, no nobles, no dying moon, only a princess who had just saved a stranger and a human who did not understand why. His name was Elias Venn. He was not a soldier, not a prince, not a hero from prophecy. He was a maintenance engineer from a lost human convoy captured after his ship was destroyed by pirates near the Outer Rim. When Seraphina ordered his chains removed, the guards hesitated. He may attack, one warned. Elias rubbed his bruised wrists and looked around the royal hangar. With what, he asked. Bad posture and emotional damage. For the first time in months, Seraphina almost smiled. She brought him to the lower levels of the palace, where the ancient heat engine of Asterion lay silent beneath miles of stone. The machine was older than her kingdom, older than her bloodline. It had once pulled warmth from the moon's core and sent it through every city. Now its golden heart flickered weakly like a candle dying inside a storm. Our best scientists failed, Seraphina said. Elias walked slowly around the engine. How long has it been making that sound? The scientists exchanged confused looks. What sound? One asked. Elias pointed upward. That one, the machine is not dead, it is choking. The chamber went silent. For 300 years the royal engineers had worshipped the heat engine like sacred technology. The human listened to it like an old truck with a bad fuel line. He asked for tools. The scientists laughed. Seraphina did not. She gave him everything he requested. For 6 hours, Elias worked without rest. He climbed through broken service tunnels, burned his hands on frozen pipes, argued with ancient control panels, and spoke to the machine like it was personally insulting him. Then the impossible happened. A dead district of the capital received heat for 17 seconds. Only 17 seconds. But across the city, thousands of people felt warmth touch their walls for the first time in weeks. Seraphina looked at Elias. What did you do? The human wiped oil from his face. I convinced it to remember its job. Hope is dangerous in a dying kingdom, because hope makes people harder to control. The next morning Seraphina was summoned before the royal council. The old nobles sat in a circle of black stone wrapped in expensive robes while the lower cities froze beneath their feet. Lord Versh, the richest noble in Asterion, stood first. Your Highness has allowed a human prisoner into the sacred engine chamber. Seraphina remained calm. He restored heat to District 7. For 17 seconds, Versh replied. A trick, a coincidence. Elias stood behind her, silent. Versh's eyes moved toward him. This creature is not salvation, he is a distraction. The moon cannot be saved. We must evacuate the noble houses and accept Lord Draven's protection. At the mention of Draven, the chamber darkened. Lord Draven was a warlord from the Iron Planet core. His fleet waited beyond Asterion's orbit. He had offered protection in exchange for Seraphina's hand, her throne, and complete control of her people. Seraphina's voice turned cold. You mean surrender? I mean survival, Versh said. Elias finally spoke. No, you mean comfort for the rich and graves for everyone else. The council exploded. How dare a human speak here? Elias stepped forward. I have seen worlds die. They don't die all at once. First, leaders start calling abandonment strategy. Seraphina turned slightly. No one had ever spoken to her council that way, not even her. Versh pointed at him. This is why humans vanished. Arrogance. Elias looked at him calmly. No, humans vanished because we kept going back for people everyone else left behind. The chamber fell silent. Seraphina looked at the human she had bought for 1 credit, and for the first time she wondered if she had not bought a prisoner. She had rescued a spark. That night Seraphina took Elias to the lower city. No guards, no council, no ceremony, only the truth. They walked through tunnels where families huddled around weak lamps. Children slept beneath silver blankets. Old people warmed their hands over machines that no longer worked. When the people saw Seraphina they bowed, but she saw fear in their eyes, not fear of her, fear that she would leave them. A little girl stepped forward holding a broken heat lantern. Princess, she whispered, will the sun come back? Seraphina had no answer. Elias knelt beside the child and took the lantern. He opened its small panel, twisted two wires, struck the side gently, and the lantern glowed. The child gasped. Elias handed it back. The sun is busy, he said softly, so we fix small stars until it returns. The girl smiled. Seraphina looked away before anyone could see tears in her eyes. Later, as they walked back through the frozen tunnels, she asked him, why do you keep helping people you do not know? Elias looked at the city around them. Because someone once helped me. Who? My mother. During the evacuation of Earth, there was one seat left on the escape shuttle. She put me in it. His voice became quieter. She stayed behind and smiled like she was not afraid. Seraphina said nothing. Elias continued. Humans are not strong because we do not break, Princess. We are strong because sometimes broken people still choose to hold the door open for someone else. Lord Draven's fleet arrived at dawn. Black ships covered the sky like iron insects. His message appeared across every screen on Asterion. Princess Seraphina, your moon is dying. Your council has already agreed to my terms. Accept marriage and surrender or watch your people freeze. The palace shook with panic. The council begged her to accept. Versh smiled like a man who had already sold the future. Seraphina stood before the window watching enemy ships block the stars. Then Elias entered. His hands were burned, his coat was torn, his eyes were alive. I found the problem, he said. Every scientist turned. Elias activated a hologram of the moon's core. The heat engine was never failing. Someone has been draining it. Seraphina looked at Versh. The noble's face went pale. Elias pointed to the data. Energy has been redirected for years into private vaults under noble estates. Your moon did not die naturally. It was murdered slowly by people who wanted evacuation rights. The council chamber erupted. Versh ran. Seraphina did not shout. She did not need to. Her guards seized him before he reached the door, but Draven's fleet was already descending. The moon was still freezing, and the ancient engine had only one way to restart fully. A manual ignition from inside the core chamber, a place no one could survive. Seraphina refused immediately. No, Elias looked at her. You don't even know what I'm going to say. You are going to say something stupid and brave. That is possible. The core chamber will kill you. Maybe. No, Elias smiled faintly. Princess, your people need heat. Draven's fleet needs your world weak. If we restart the engine, your shields come back online. Your cities survive. His ships lose their advantage. Seraphina's eyes filled with anger. You think I saved you so you could die for me? No, Elias said, you saved me because that is who you are. For a moment neither moved. Then he added, now let me prove what humans are. Seraphina stepped closer. You are not a tool, Elias. I know, you are not a debt. I know, you are not allowed to become another ghost in my palace. His expression softened. Then don't remember me as a ghost. Remember me as the idiot who argued with a moon and won. Before she could stop him, Elias entered the core lift. The doors closed. Seraphina ran to the glass as the lift descended into golden darkness. Inside the core chamber, Elias could barely breathe. Heat and radiation tore through the walls. Ancient systems screamed in languages older than empires. His hands shook as he connected the final ignition cables. Above him, Draven's ships opened fire. The palace shield cracked. In the capital, children held broken lanterns and waited. Seraphina stood in the control chamber, refusing to look away from Elias' signal. His voice came through the static. Princess, I am here. I need you to do something. Anything. When this works, tell that little girl the sun was not busy. Static swallowed his breath. Tell her it was just waiting for a human to annoy it. Seraphina laughed once through tears. Then Elias pulled the ignition lever. For one heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the moon woke. Golden light erupted from the core. Heat rushed through the ancient veins of Asterion. Frozen rivers cracked. Dead towers glowed. Lower city walls warmed beneath children's hands. Above the planet, the shield returned like a sunrise made of crystal. Draven's first wave crashed against it and burned. Across the moon, millions looked up as their world came back to life. Seraphina whispered, Elias. No answer, only static. They found him 3 hours later. Alive, barely, collapsed beside the ignition gate with one hand still locked around the control lever. When Elias opened his eyes, Seraphina was beside him. Her crown was gone, her royal armor was scratched, her face was streaked with tears. He blinked weakly. Did it work? Seraphina laughed and cried at the same time. The moon is warm. Good. Draven retreated. Better. Versh confessed. Best morning ever. She took his burned hand carefully. You almost died. Elias looked at her. Almost is a very human word. Weeks later, Asterion changed. The noble vaults were emptied and their stolen energy returned to the people. The lower city was rebuilt first. The council was dissolved. No prisoner was ever sold in Asterion again, and in the capital square, Princess Seraphina stood before millions. Beside her stood Elias Ven, the human bought for one credit, the human who restarted a moon. The human who proved that mercy was not weakness. Seraphina spoke to her people. For years we were told survival meant abandoning the helpless. Today we know the truth. A kingdom survives when even one stranger is worth saving. She turned toward Elias. I bought his life for one credit. The crowd went silent, then she smiled. But he gave us back our world. The people of Asterion bowed, not to prince, not to a warlord, not to a weapon, to human. Years later, children would ask why the first statue in the rebuilt capital showed a princess holding a broken lantern beside a tired human engineer. And their teachers would say, because the galaxy believed humans were gone. But humanity was never only a species. Humanity was the hand that reached back, the voice that said, try again. The fool brave enough to fix a dying moon with burned hands and a joke. And the princess wise enough to understand that sometimes the cheapest life in the room carries the greatest light. In a galaxy that measured power by fleets, crowns, and bloodlines, one human reminded them of something older. Mercy is not the opposite of strength. Mercy is what strength was always meant for.